What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph Brocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm David.
And we got an awesome wrap-up coming to you from our homes. Not, I guess I was going to say from HalfRez. But Brograph.com, if you haven't heard of us before, we're a tutorial site, and we also have a podcast. On the podcast, we talk about things that are a little bit harder to talk about when you're doing a tutorial, like the industry, contracts, working for the man, doing motion graphics, things in After Effects and Cinema 4D, and occasionally other programs such as PF Track, which we might talk about today, actually. So we're going to make this show a short one. I know we always say that, but we have a lot of Halo to play.
Yeah, we got to play some Halo.
Because David got
I finally bought an Xbox One.
So, yeah.
It's incredibly exciting.
We're going to get right into the wrap-up.
Wait, you bought an Xbox One specifically so you could play Halo with us?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
That is sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, it was fun this week.
It was super fun.
I kind of had like the time of my life.
Yeah, me too. All my dreams came true, basically. I got to talk to people.
It was like Dirty Dancing, the whole time. I just had the "You Got the Time of Your Life" song in my head.
I think
was that what I was whistling at the Airbnb? I was whistling something.
No, the next day.
No, what were you whistling?
Oh, what was it? What were you? You were whistling. Oh man, and whatever it was, you had it in my head. Like you had it in my head the whole next day too. So let's not remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either.
No member berries for that one.
No member berries. So we can't talk about everything that happened at HalfRez because there's some things we just kind of got to leave there.
Yeah, whatever happens at HalfRez stays at HalfRez.
Except the stuff we can talk about.
Except the stuff we can talk about.
Yeah. And we can't talk about the hookers and blow.
Oh, edit. I'm just kidding. There was no hookers and blow.
Yeah, no.
If there were hookers and blow, we couldn't talk about it.
Right.
So the fact that we're talking about it means that there weren't actually any.
There weren't.
Andrew Kramer was my hookers and blow.
Yeah. Dude, I think I've met every hero of mine now except for... No, I think that's
Syriac is all I have left.
Oh, there you go. I've got Ryan Summers and Joey Korenman on my list. And Sakani Solomon. There you go.
All right.
Those guys. My list keeps growing, though, because every time I get online, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. He makes awesome art. Now I need to meet him. Yeah. I wish I was as good at being Schmoozy Matt as Schmoozy Matt is.
Oh, man. Schmoozy Matt was out in full force.
That's true.
At HalfRez.
Yeah, it was amazing. My favorite moment was when everybody was taking the official, important people photo.
Oh, yeah.
And then you photobombed it. You were, taking a selfie of the people taking the photo. It was kind of amazing.
Yeah, no, I took a selfie of myself with all of them so that it looked like that I was actually a part of the important people.
Oh my God.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I guess to kind of go in order, we got in. David, you were already there.
Oh
yeah,
you
were there for a wedding.
I was
but
there
we got
for a
in.
week. Yeah, it was fun.
Yep.
So you got to see a lot more cool stuff.
Taking my Ubers, my special Ubers.
Special Ubers. And we got in Sunday morning, went to the Airbnb. We met up with you. And
wait, Sunday morning? You mean Wednesday morning?
I didn't say Sunday.
I think
you
said
maybe
Sunday.
did.
I don't know. And we went out to eat. What was the name of that place? We went to an interesting...
That place was weird. It looked good from the photos, but then Matt got foie gras on top of his French toast, and it was all kinds of weird.
Everything had fish in it.
No, here's the thing.
Everything. I'm deathly allergic to fish, so that was actually very concerning to me. There were a lot of anchovy things.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. And my food, it was like the foie gras on top, so that was okay. Actually, you didn't really taste it that much, but the French toast, I've never had French toast where it's almost an entire loaf of bread.
It
uncut.
looked like a loaf of bread.
It was uncut.
It was huge.
Loaf of bread.
It was so weird.
It was probably 4 inches thick. Apparently they've got Texas toast, but that's Chicago toast.
Yeah, that was some deep dish French toast right there.
Oh, but I would never get it again. I would never get it again. I tasted that all day.
You were so trying to be like nice about it and be like, this is really interesting. I could acquire this taste.
Here's the thing. No, but I can still taste it in my mouth.
That's gross. That's really gross.
But it was like, it tasted like lemon cake or something.
Lemon cake. Weird. With goose liver on top.
Yeah.
Because that's what that was.
The goose is fine. I wasn't too worried about it.
That stuff grosses me out. I can't handle how dense liver is. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So we went to the aquarium, and that's I think at that point, David, that's when you realized that you were Ubering.
Oh my god!
Wrong?
Yeah, I was either Ubering wrong or Ubering so right, because all of my Ubers were so fancy. I was like, wow. And like, here's the thing: is our first Uber we took, like, we went and checked the price against the taxis. The taxi was going to be like $100. So I was like, oh, this is great.
Jeez.
But turns out the whole time, I'm like, man, these cars are really fancy. Man, all these drivers are so professional. Like, they're offering me bottles of water and stuff. This is great. But yeah, the whole time I was...
The first time I got into an Uber, I was like, I hear they've normally got like bottles of water and stuff like that. Why aren't I getting anything?
Some of the regular ones do.
One of our Ubers had like mirrors on the back of the seat, so you could check how cool you looked, and then I don't know.
I would have been all over that.
Yeah, totally. You with your spiked hair, stuff going on. But it turns out I was doing Uber selects the whole time. But whatever. It meant that Emma and I got really non-sketchy drivers, which was good because we were kind of terrified. Good. The second we got to Chicago, like, it was nighttime and we were like, we don't know where we knew where we were staying, but we didn't know if it was a good area. Because like, if you look up a map of like crime rates in different areas, it's like, yep, there are tons of people that died like right around the corner from you or whatever. It's like, so we're like,
there's murders everywhere.
Exactly. It's like, if we go outside, are we going to get shot? Like, we were pretty freaked out, but we didn't actually have anything to worry about. The next day, we kind of like walked the entire length of the city, or at least it felt that way. We walked from like Lincoln Park all the way down to the Sears Tower.
I was just 2 days sing some Lincoln Park part.
Jesus, that's right. You started blasting Lincoln Park in the Airbnb. So we're like, we're in Lincoln Park, bros.
Anyway. I'm listening to Linkin Park and looking at Linkin Park at the same time.
Yeah, I've got the Maxon fever again. I sound like crap.
You do.
Yeah. What is the deal with that, man?
I don't know. It's just traveling. You're exposed to all those, all those germies.
You get so excited about meeting all your heroes.
I do. I just like work myself up into
your immune system. Just
drains out of me.
Yeah. It's working so hard to like keep your body at normal because you're so excited.
I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna meet people. He's right there. Matt, introduce me, Matt. And you did. And then I was awkward. You did, yeah. And then I was like, hey, people.
Oh, that's right.
I'm with the Brograph bros.
That's right, because we had just talked to him, and you were like, oh, I haven't met him yet. And Matt's like, oh, well, I'll introduce you.
Yeah, I already know this guy. It was weird. Because, what was I going to say? I forget what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, because he already, like, knew of me because he actually listened to your show. And I was like, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I was having a conversation with him, like, later on, and he was like, oh, yeah, you talked about that on the show. I was like, I'm not worthy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like, I still have a hard time believing that some of these people actually listen to the show, you know? Like, sure, I see numbers and stuff like that, but I don't know.
I mean, half the time he's jamming out to his rap and other awesome music stuff, but the other time, he's just loving on the Brograph podcast. He just wants to be best friends with us, basically. People, if you're listening,
it's funny.
Call me.
Call me. Anyway, we talked to him. He's going to be on the show. We will have him on the show. I basically, so as soon as we got there, basically you guys didn't see me for the rest of the night.
That's true.
I was,
you were just, social
running
butterflying
deals and, meeting people. I like just trying to get my name out there, our name out there, and like work some stuff, So like I got soft confirmations, I will say, from people. Paul Babb said he would be on the show, which is cool.
Hashtag feel the Bab.
Chad.
Hashtag feel the Bab. Hashtag make America Bab again.
Chad.
Andrew Kramer said that he will probably be on the
crazy.
show. Chad Ashley.
Chad.
Did I get a confirmation from David Brodeur? I believe I did.
Maybe.
That guy was so
We
cool.
talked about it.
Yeah, he was super cool. It was weird meeting him. I have a huge appreciation for his stuff, and like, I don't know, all these people, I think they're just going to be big a-holes, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And just be like,
but they're not. They're really nice.
Yeah, they're totally not. All of them are super nice.
Yep.
Because they're nerd famous.
Yep.
As EJ put it.
Yeah. I mean,
EJ's
people
wife
kind of
calls
said
it.
that in his talk. You asked that question. You were like, why are you so humble? And even though you've transcended the MoGraph community to the real world, you're like the most legit artist. Like, and then he was like, well, I live in Wisconsin and all the people like give me blank stares when I say I'm a, motion designer or whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what that means. So that kind of has to keep you humble.
What's funny is like, say I was thinking about this, it's like if he was located in like New York City, would he be a completely different person or would he be the exact same person he is? You know? Like, I don't know.
Well, he wouldn't have the awesome accent and he wouldn't be nearly as hilarious. Like, he's hilarious. Yeah.
The people accent.
He is hilarious.
Yeah. Which we should not try to imitate right now. No.
I'm pretty good at it.
You're pretty good at it. I can't do it.
Okay, so let's go back in
all
order
you gotta
so we
do
don't
is
miss
just throw in
anything.
a bunch of F-bombs,
Oh, that's
Right.
right. That's
everything,
true.
and then, yeah.
But, like, I can't do the Wisconsin thing. You gotta, like, draw out the A's and
You
stuff.
just gotta
can't do it.
pretend you're from Fargo or something like that.
Yeah, I need
But
to
not
watch
quite,
Fargo,
though.
like, 5
Yeah.
times in a row, and then I'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So let's go in order so we don't miss anything.
When I was in high school, I watched Fargo with a bunch of my friends, and I stuck with that accent for like 2 weeks. It
That's
annoyed
awesome.
the hell out of them.
That's
Anyway,
fantastic.
all right, so we don't miss a
Dave
thing.
wants
Go
to
ahead,
be all
Dave.
organized.
Yeah.
Organized.
So we went to the aquarium, which was awesome. It was a pretty
We're
good
still
aquarium.
in aquarium, man.
Yeah,
what a
I know,
great
right?
show.
I like
We did the
we're not gonna get to play Halo at all. This is crap.
we went to the museum, and man, I got to say the one thing I'm really like upset because I was not feeling well. Like I had this horrible
Oh,
pain
that really
in my
sucked,
back,
Yeah.
and I felt bad like because like I kind of stopped our touring dead in its track. Like I wouldn't have even said anything if it wasn't bad, but it was so bad that I kind of for a minute thought maybe I should like go to the ER. Like it was that bad.
That's crazy.
And then like I took some stuff and I still don't know what it was.
stuff.
I guess it was
So
a weird
Some
muscle
stuff.
because it felt like more than that.
Yeah.
But I felt bad about that. The problem is like it completely like it was gone. It came back during the night.
Yeah.
When we were there. And so like I was totally out of it. Like I was talking to I think Luke at the time.
Yeah,
and
you
I
were
was
talking to Luke.
I was so in another world that like I didn't take pictures with anybody really. I didn't like talk to as many people as I wanted to. Like the whole thing kind of spoiled that for me. I feel bad. So like
It sucks.
next year, like I just wasn't. I just mentally I was not all there.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
sucks. But so we did the museum. That was cool. We didn't get to see the planetarium
Planetarium.
like we wanted to. But we went back. We had some deep dish.
pizza.
Heck yeah. Dude,
Which it was-
that deep dish, like pulling off that
Ridiculous.
first slice, it was just,
Yeah.
oh, man.
I wanted a picture of
so
that
much
because it was
cheese.
the gloppiest, most amazing, like cartoony cheese stretch I've ever seen.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, it's the type of cheese, amount of cheese that you need, like, an Imodium immediately after.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think I ate an entire half slice of that.
Yeah.
I had
me
like
too.
3 or 4 slices over the course of our half-Rez
Really?
times. Yeah. I
Man.
rocked it. I subsisted off of that deep dish pizza because, yeah.
And where
Dude,
was it from?
I don't care. I don't know.
I don't know where
I
we
don't
ended up
care.
going
I
after
really
all
have
that.
no idea. I just called the first place on Yelp that had a picture of a deep dish pizza that delivered.
Nice.
Sweet.
But man, that thing
Well, 'cause-
was heavy too.
Yeah.
Like it was super heavy.
Was it
something like that, you think
Giordano's?
no, it wasn't Giordano's. or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
I think it was like, I don't know. It was some like woman's name.
Well,
Not
peanut
to say
butter
that
on
like
Twitter.
there's anything about women's
Some
names or
woman.
anything.
Yeah.
Peanut butter on Twitter said that like it was a little too late, but he said Giordano's is where we should have gone
Yeah.
for future reference.
Lou Malnati's
For
was good.
next
I went
year.
there.
It's just like when you go to Philly, everybody has a different opinion of which Philly cheesesteak you have to go get.
Dude, if you want a real original Philly cheesesteak, go to the Philly cheesesteak here in Richardson, Texas. There's a guy who used to live in Philly who makes them.
Cool.
Exactly like they do in Philly.
Everybody has a different...
everything.
Yeah.
I loved hearing Nick say, "Don't get the deep dish pizza."
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. I mean,
no way.
Like, yeah, you don't have to love deep dish pizza. It is kind of like a lasagna pizza.
It basically is. Like, it's just...
it's cheesecake. That's what it is.
Cheesecake.
It's well, not like
That's
cheesecake, but like
That's already a thing.
It's like cheese dash cake,
Cheese
or
dash.
cake cheese.
Cake cheese.
How about that?
It's like a pizza
Cake
pie.
Yeah. Right, it is a pizza pie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we headed to the event. We got there. There was a long line. People waiting to get in. We met up with EJ and Barton outside.
Everyone was there like before 6 o'clock. I felt like I was going to a concert or something.
Yeah, I know. Zubair was there. We finally met Zubair.
Yeah,
straight up. So he and I were going to hang out this week, but I was all sick and didn't want to drive up to DC, but we're going to hang out soon. Yeah. Because he's cool.
It's cool.
He lives close enough to me. Yeah.
We met some people in line too. I'm so bad with names, man. I wish I could remember everybody's name.
I am awful at names.
Oh, so bad at that.
So
got to use actually.
It's so funny. Like when we pulled up, I was like, "Oh, there's Barton," and EJ was already there. Yeah, I forgot he didn't drive with us because he's too cool for us.
He's too cool.
But we pulled up and I was like, oh, there they are, right at the front. I'm gonna walk up to the front and then they'll probably just let us in because we're Brograph guys hanging out with EJ House and Frost and like ABC, and then they're like, all right, everyone move to the back. And we're like, oh
no, I didn't want to be a d-bag and cut in line.
Yeah, that's crap.
That'd be a d-bag thing to do.
Sorry, Schmoozy Matt was already out and ready to play.
Yeah, you were jonesing to just jump on in there. Let me in.
Yep, and I was wearing my Feel the Bab shirt. Yeah. Or my Paul Bab 2020.
Yeah, because we went in and got drinks, and you immediately went in to find Paul.
I took the photo.
Yes.
The photo now has a bajillion likes and comments. Everybody and their mother wants that thing. Yeah, have you seen that? Go onto Facebook. On Paul Bab's Facebook.
I'm not friends with Paul Bab on Facebook.
Oh, really?
And you call yourself Schmoozy Matt.
I don't know. It's one of those things where you think he's just like too cool for me.
Oh crap!
So here's the thing about the shirt.
Potato. There we go.
Well, we're good. We're good. So here's the thing about the shirt is that we are going to start selling them on the site either tomorrow or Tuesday, and all of the proceeds are going to go to Paul Bab's charity of choice.
Yes. So we don't know what that is yet.
It has over 175 likes.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it has 44 comments.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of the comments? What are they saying about the shirt?
I totally want one with 6 exclamation points. Me too.
Can I be the campaign media director?
See, now you can see it. Jate commented. They actually did it. XD. I'm rolling.
That's hilarious.
Let's see. Where do we order them? Everybody wants one. Yeah. It was quite a good idea.
Oh, wow.
We're going to get that up there.
Yeah.
We're not going to take any. I guess they're public or something.
Yeah. I think his page is public.
Oh, cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So we're not going to take any profit off of the shirt. We're just going to do all proceeds going to charity of his choice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But he was cool enough, and really it's a fun shirt. And I'm a little proud of the design. I think it looks pretty good.
It looks good.
Yeah. So we're gonna start selling the shirts. I wanted to ask his permission first,
Yeah.
And he said it's cool, totally awesome. And then he emailed me later. Him and I have been going back and forth because I mentioned that we were doing DFW C4D this week. It's gonna be Tuesday. I mentioned that it's at HalfRez, and he's like, "How can I help? How can I help?" So he will be paying for drinks.
That's super awesome.
And it may actually be more than the first 10 people. So we're gonna see how that works. And then he's thrown us a whole bunch of swag that's just coming here like tomorrow or something like that. 2 boxes full of swag for us to just give away, which is way cool.
So awesome.
Way cool.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Because we're out there kind of like pushing Cinema 4D stuff, and they're just so cool about just giving us stuff to give away to push
totally.
the program. That's really cool.
Yeah, awesome. So and he was like, yeah, I was thinking more about the shirts. How about we give 50 cents or whatever per sell? I was like, I don't know, let's do $1. He's like, oh, that's way more than I was saying. Yeah, so it doesn't matter to me, how much we give, as long
I think
as
it should be like $5.
Yeah, I don't even think we make $5 though.
Well, you make whatever you want.
Yeah, but I don't want to jack up the price just so.
Well, yeah, but
these are exclusive.
If we're not making any money off of it,
yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
when he becomes president for real, it'll be worth a lot of money.
That's true.
I actually said, and I said in the email, I said, I would really vote for you. He said, you got to understand some of my policies first. You got to get to know me. That's awesome. Pretty funny.
Yeah, when I said bye to him at the very end of the event, I just shook his hand and said, #feel the Bab.
Yeah.
Make America Bab again.
Was that at the end of the event or the end of the night?
Oh, at the end of the event. You're right.
Yeah. Word.
We'll get there. All kind of said our goodbyes.
So where are we going? Where are we going from there?
Okay, so Matt,
have we
you were talking
inside
to
the
Chad.
Door yet?
Yeah, Matt, you were talking to Chad.
Yes.
And then, I joined up with you, and we started talking about Arnold, which was awesome.
Yes, totally.
Because, and Octane, we're having this, awesome conversation about Octane and Arnold and where it's going and the future and all this. Now, he brought up such a good point, which was once Arnold, if this isn't a thing yet, but if Arnold decides to go GPU,
yes,
it's going to be over. It's going to be game over.
I think it will too. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very good
I'd switch over to Arnold pretty quick because I'll tell you, I did that test on the Arnold and Octane stuff and threw it up on the subreddit, and the Arnold one just looked better,
Yeah, it's true.
And, but I had to spend almost 16 minutes rendering that still frame. Now, I don't know if it's optimized correctly or not, but still,
But you can imagine that technology in a GPU is just going to be really, really great.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So I'm on the Arnold train. I'll go for that.
Yeah, totally.
I already know Octane.
Yeah, I know.
I'd rather learn other. I need to learn
something else to learn.
I need to stop obsessing about renderers.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Have you messed with? Have you met David? Have you messed with Arnold or V-Ray at all?
I very, very briefly tried to do something in V-Ray and found it incredibly frustrating because it took an hour to render a single frame.
Yeah.
So I gave up on V-Ray very quickly.
Yeah.
And Arnold, I've just seen a lot of Trevor Kerr's presentations and stuff like that, but I've not actually used it at all.
Here's the thing.
Trevor wasn't there.
No, he wasn't. I saw a couple man buns who I thought were him, but no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Arnold, I came from, standard renderer to V-Ray. I went from, there to V-Ray and spent a little bit of time in V-Ray, and then went from V-Ray to Octane. So having the background in V-Ray and Octane, I was able to move over to Arnold, and understand it pretty well. The samples in your sample in Octane is very similar to the samples in Arnold, and all the verbiage or the way that you the different settings and stuff, or the what is the nomenclature they use on the words is the same is similar to V-Ray and Octane,
right?
Anyway.
Except for that ass file. I can't get over that is a thing. Who named it that way and why? And I don't know. It's just bizarre.
It was on purpose,
Mr. Arnold.
Yeah, because you can't not know that you're doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, we were inside. We were talking to Chad. So I first went and found Paul because I wanted to show him the shirt. Blah blah. He was excited about the shirt. David took the picture. And it's so funny. So I was looking for Paul. And Paul was standing right next to Andrew Kramer, and I'm sure Andrew Kramer didn't remember us from the last time when we met at NAB.
Oh, of course not. We just took a picture real quick,
right, exactly.
Idiots.
Yeah,
he remembered me.
I totally fanboyed it out, So, I went over and I went and started talking to Paul and just completely ignored Andrew Kramer altogether.
Oh, you snubbed Andrew Kramer?
No, I didn't snub him. I was just he's too good for me. I don't need to talk to him right now. I can't fanboy it out right now.
I kind of did the same thing. He reached out to shake my hand because he like recognized me or whatever, and I was like, "Hey, Andrew!" Like as if I know him, like, and I'm his best friend. And then I like immediately went and sat somewhere else.
That's funny.
Andrew, I love you, and goodbye.
I mean, you know, someone there, someone of that stature or whatever, you know, Andrew Kramer people or whatever. You don't just jump in. I mean, you do. You do. The first time you meet them, you know. But eventually, you just kind of like chill.
That's what's so funny about these events.
Schmoozy Matt does this. Schmoozy Matt has this way of working. You know, you slowly work your way, become their best friend, overpower them, take over their empire.
What's so funny is all these Cinema 4D events. All these guys, like all these guys are Cinema 4D guys, and everybody's like, Nick Campbell and all these people. But then Andrew Kramer shows up, and it's just like another level.
Yeah,
and he's not even a cinema guy. He's like. After Effects guy.
Yeah, and he uses 3ds Max. He started in 3ds Max or whatever. Anyway, so I go over to find Chad Ashley, and I'm talking to Chad Ashley, and like people are there, and I'm like, oh man, this is so cool, and we're just chit chatting, whatever. And then Andrew Kramer walks in and joins the conversation. I'm like, oh yeah, oh don't mind me, I'm just you know hanging out, talking to people, and Andrew Kramer and Chad Ashley, you know, whatever. So then Chad left. And he had to go because he was presenting first. So he left, and then here I am just talking to people. And
I'm there too.
Yeah, and you came up, you know, and so you said hi to people. You met people, and people started talking. I thanked him. Yeah.
Well, I thanked him for buying the plugin for one.
Yes, totally. And so, like, you know, Andrew Kramer is listening to the conversation. He's like, "Oh, who are you guys?" Blah blah blah. You know, and so like, we don't introduce ourselves, but people starts telling him all about like the podcast and the plugin. It's like
that's awesome.
Oh my gosh, you know,
you're
and
totally
so to top
working
it all
it the
up,
right way, dude. You're the best networker.
So anyway, we're standing, you know, in a circle, kind of talking, and like the coolest thing, you know, to top it all off, then comes someone comes up to us and is like, "Hey, you're the Brograph guys." It's like, yes, we're getting some recognition.
I should just be like, I should do that too. I should be like the planted, you know, whatever, and be like, "Hey, aren't you guys Brograph guys? Oh my god, I love your. Who are you? Oh, Andrew Kramer. Andrew Kramer.
No,
but no, do you know these Brograph guys?"
That's funny.
Here's always the thing about that kind of situation. It's like it's not that we want recognition like because we want to be famous or something. Well, maybe you do, Matt.
Yeah.
But like I like people coming up because like if they recognize me, that means that like I have actually like done something for somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
Like the whole point of us doing this all the time, and I've probably said this before, is because like we want to help people on the internet.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. We want to have a conversation with people. We want to help people.
The podcast is for I mean, it's entertainment, you know.
Well, really, right, but the whole thing is that like that we're actually, you know, because everybody comes up, "Oh, I really liked when you did this," or "You helped me when you did that." Like that makes me feel good. You know, like the whole thing is like I don't want to be like a movie star. I don't want to be famous. I just want to know that what I'm doing is not moot. Like there's a like that it's actually going out to somebody and it's helping somebody, and I'm not just on the internet talking to nobody.
But even if you were, we'd still be entertaining ourselves.
Right, that's true.
I'm entertained.
So anyway, that was kind of the most amazing thing ever. Like being able to just hang out with those guys and stuff like that, you know, work my way around a room.
I had my own moment too where I got to kind of corner people, but not really. He was just standing there, and I was like, I showed him my Harry Sky Potter thing. My Harry, I showed him. I whipped out my Harry Sky Potter, and he was I was like, hey,
didn't he say he'd seen it?
No.
Oh, that was another guy.
But he, I was like, I used your textures in this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, oh, which ones? And I was like, the Super Grebe. Sorry, I've got the Max on fever.
It's all good.
And, you know, he was really excited that, that it, you know, that it was useful and stuff. And he like clapped me on the back, and I felt super good about myself. And
totally.
He went on being Beeple, and I went on, you know.
Well, we were having drinks up at the bar at one point, and I was telling him the story that I had like way back in one of the first episodes of the podcast, where I was at that concert because I wanted to see Madeon, and I didn't really know Zed that well, but they started playing, and because they were the main act. And all of a sudden I'm like watching all this stuff, and I'm with my buddy Seth, who I used to do the other podcast with back in the day. And he's not going to recognize any of that stuff, but I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, like, this style, like, this looks just like Beeple. Like this looks like he did this thing called 0 Day, and like this is his style. It looks just, and so like I was telling Beeple this whole story, like that I recognized his style.
Right.
You know,
That's
he's
awesome.
like, really? I was like, yeah, like you can tell, like it's awesome. Like it looks
great.
I really wish I would have had a chance to ask him about like more about like how long it took to make and like all that stuff. But
Totally.
Well, you'll have a chance, brother.
On the podcast.
that's right, on the podcast. If you're listening right now, people, you know you got to come on.
Yep.
I really loved the Q&A that Nick Campbell had. Nick was such a good host. He really was. Yeah.
Nick did a really good job hosting, and like, you know, he got up there beforehand and was like, you know, just saying, hey, you may have seen this stuff before, you guys may know this, but, you know, just kind of, we're here to meet people, and it was cool. And he was like, you know, so when we went to NAB last year, David, you were the icebreaker for us, you know, meeting Nick and meeting Paul and stuff like that. And you kind of introduced us to everyone. And it was cool because he kind of played that part at HalfRez where he's like, turn to someone, you know, you don't know around you, introduce yourself, blah, blah, blah. And it was cool because, you know, that's the type of thing. I mean, it's a little inspirational, you know, and whatever. It takes the edge off, you know, of actually having to meet people. You know,
yeah, for sure.
I mean, we're a bunch of artists. We're sitting in front of our computers 24 hours a day, not really talking
we don't
to anyone.
know how to social.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
We don't socialize.
The other thing about just being there in general is that I feel like I have such a better handle now on what we're going to do at our show on Tuesday.
That's awesome.
For sure. Totally. Man, it's going to be a crazy week. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
So, so Nick was talking, and then Chad went up and talked, and it was, I liked Chad's talk. I liked it a lot. You know, it was interesting.
I loved his.
It's so funny because like I'm so used to it, like the corporate world and stuff like that. Anytime you're seeing presentations and like in meetings and stuff, and it's just boring slideshows and stuff. And he's putting up there, and everyone was just like putting memes and putting GIFs and stuff. And
I love that all of these artists were communicating visually through GIFs.
Yeah,
that was such a cool theme.
Really funny.
Like, I mean, NAB presentations are amazing and cutting edge, but you know, like they're more formal. I love the atmosphere here. It was just it was fun, and it was inspirational, and it was cool. Yeah,
it was very cool. So Chad got up and he was talking, and it was basically one of those things like, you kids, when you whippersnappers,
when I was your age, I was older than you.
Expensive and hard to do back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's talking about, you know, basically how difficult it was to be a, you know, independent 3D artist back in the day. Like, you had to have hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And nowadays you can do it for like, you know, 20 grand or something like that, or even cheaper than that.
Totally.
So,
I think
and it was really cool.
was the number he arrived at.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, and I'd say that's probably about right. You
over
know,
9,000.
Over 9,000.
Over 9,000. Not too far over 9,000.
It was cool. Like, he showed off the little Lego bridge thing that we've seen before at like NAB and stuff like that, and it was cool. When I got dropped off at the airport by my whatever person, my Uber person. And so I got in the airport. I'm going down the, you know, the horizontal escalator, whatever that's called, the people mover, you know, and I look up and there is an advertisement for that Lego bridge thing, and, you know, shooting a picture and sent it to him on Twitter. I was like, hey, looky what I found, you know. It's seriously so cool to like be able to see that in real life and be like, yep, I know the person who worked on that campaign. That's cool.
Totally.
Yeah. Anyway, his presentation was really good.
I feel like his presentation had shared some similarities with Chris Schmidt's, because they were both looking back at the past. Chris Schmidt's was like, you know, using version 6 XL of Cinema 4D, showing what you could still do back in the day, and kind of the bones of it. Both of them were like really kind of, you know, fun and inspirational, and like, you know, look like, how far we've come, you know, like the software actually does matter to some degree, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I think that was kind of like a general theme throughout. It's like, you know, because they had the other guys from, who were they from? Run, Kick, Play.
Run, Kick, Shout.
Run, Kick, Shout.
Yeah. And so like, it's like, hey, look how far we've come, you know, the two guys. And then it's like, look what you can do as an independent, as starting your own company, as a small company.
Yeah, I was curious how you guys felt about that talk, because you have a very similar story. Like, you guys have both, you know, you had to leave your full-time jobs, then you're freelancing, then you're freelancing together, you know, and now you're a company and you're a sole unit or whatever. So did you go ahead?
No, I was going to say that I know you guys like kind of sat down and was listening, but you're going to hate me. Like, I was just listening as I was searching for one of those HalfRez cubes. No, I wasn't schmoozing. I was trying to win a dang skateboard.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's right, and you finally did.
Yes, and I finally did.
That's amazing.
So I saw those, you know, on Twitter, and I was like, I'm going to win one of those skateboards.
The thing that I really got,
a long time looking all around for those cubes.
For the cube.
I was watching it though. Like, I really got a lot out of that, because actually, like, because I missed some of Chris's because I was like out talking to Luke and stuff.
Yeah, and you were in pain.
And I would, but then I started feeling better again. I took something and I came back, and so I went and sat down to watch their presentation, and it's a lot like what Matt and I are doing right now. And like, one of the big things that they were talking about was the fact that, like, you just like don't call yourself a freelancer. Like, I don't like to call myself a freelancer at all. And I get kind of upset when people are like, oh, so how's freelancing going? I'm like, I'm not freelancing. I started a company with somebody. Like, I'm not freelancing.
Totally.
And they were talking about the fact that, like, you don't call you are whatever you say you are.
Right.
You know, so like, we are a company, you know, and but there was so much that they talked about that was like right up, you know, our alley. But God, I saw their reel. I'm like, man, we just need to dump half the stuff on our site and make some new stuff. Like, because there's so much that we have that's really good that we can't show. That we're gonna have to do some other stuff and get it out there.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. Gotta have time first. This is gonna be a crazy till the end of the year. You know,
I think really it's going to be one of those things where it's going to slow down at the holidays. I think we're going to have some time to do some of the things that, well, like tutorials and
Are
some
you
other
going
things.
to get that holiday card gig again, or is that unclear at this point?
I have no idea. The thing is that the company, the law firm, they got bought out or merged or did something, and I don't know how that's going to happen. The other thing is that usually it starts sometime in October, so I'm guessing, you know, she knows that it was nominated for an Emmy,
right?
You know, and I mean that right there is enough. But you know, this would be through the company I used to work for, and I assume if they get it, that I might be involved again. But you know, I don't know. You know, they might just try and do it on their own.
Yeah.
So we'll see, because it would be nice because they'd have support from both of us and all of our Octane render machines that we have at our disposal. So
totally,
you know, I hope that happens. So we're working on that, by the way, the behind the scenes thing, and that's going to show at DFWC 4D, or a shortened version of it at DFWC 4D, and then we'll have a longer version online.
You know, the show is, I mean, this will probably get released tomorrow. You know, but if you guys still are, if you're in the Dallas area or Austin or planning on coming up or whatever, if you can make it up here, come up, man. It's going to be lots of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I don't know if we can do what HalfRez did.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yeah, but maybe once we reach, you know, 5 years from now or something like that, maybe we'll be, I mean, if we have 65 people, their first HalfRez was only 90 people.
And that was a national thing.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, so
anyway, that would be nice. So what else? We did that run, kick, shout. Okay, and then Beeple was after run, kick, shout.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so
Beeple
hilarious.
Was so good. Like he's funny. He was so funny. Yeah. And like he was just the man is so down to earth. And you know, if you just here's what's weird, and I mentioned this to you guys. It's like he dresses so differently than how you would think. Like he just doesn't portray this like crazy abstract avant-garde artist, you know? or whatever, that you see his work. He is in Dockers and a button-up like dress shirt or whatever, and meanwhile all of us are like running around in shorts and like logo tees and stuff like that, and crazy hair and piercings and tattoos and stuff like that. And it's like, no, he's like the straight-laced, whatever.
But he's all that stuff on the inside.
Yeah, and he's this crazy avant-garde,
Totally,
modern artist or whatever. And it's so crazy, like knowing that I just want to know what goes on inside his brain,
Right.
Because I don't know.
He would say, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just some spheres
do
and
it.
crap. I just throw whatever's there, and I don't think about it.
I don't know how to make a mask in Photoshop.
I learned how to make a mask like 4 weeks ago. Yeah,
I loved the quote where he says, "Don't. How do you get the extra 5 minutes in a day?" He's like,
takes
just
you 5 minutes. 5 minutes just to throw a bunch of spheres on there, and Octane does it all.
He's like, don't take a dump that day. I don't know.
Don't take a dump that day. Did you see the inspirational posters that people were posting on Twitter?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to search for, but my internet just totally crapped out. I was going to tell you guys that there are these hilarious, I think there's even a T-shirt now or something. Maybe it was a poster.
Gosh, that's hilarious.
Great. That needs to be the camera stopped rolling in part of that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I hope they have like another camera or something.
I think they were
because
running a second camera. I'm not sure. So
I can't wait to watch that again because that was a great talk.
Yeah. They gave away a ton of prizes. Man, they gave away so many prizes. Like a bunch
I never
of
win prizes.
I know.
I was like really hoping for some more another X Particles license or whatever. Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave away a Moto.
I know. Yeah, that's cool.
That was crazy. And like an actual a full copy of R18, studio and stuff like that.
Totally.
Yeah, it's cool. Anyway.
So after that, it kind of wrapped, but we were just kind of hanging out in the bar area. That's when we met David Brodeur.
Yeah,
which I really wish I would have had more time to talk to him.
I was schmoozing, earlier, so I got to meet him way earlier.
So you already know his whole life story, and you guys
right.
Yeah.
So it was cool talking to him though because
and stuff.
He said he was doing Octane stuff, and he did a search. He was trying to do some underwater stuff.
Yeah.
And he came across the fog, smoke, and flame Octane tutorial on Brograph, and then realized we had a podcast and started listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
So
he's way behind. He just listened to the one with Nick.
Oh yeah, I got some catching up to do. So I wish we had more time to talk because I think we would have some cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah, totally. We're gonna get him on the show.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't know that yet. He does
but
now.
we were all hanging out there though at that point, and then like talking about where we were going to go after this because they were closing down that bar. They're like, hey, everybody's got to get
just
out.
Going home. I was like, all right, this is so cool. Yeah, we're going to go home, whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this. So like we had an email from what is his name? Dang it. I'm awful with names.
Terrible person.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure it's in the
Chris
yeah
Letranga. I'm sure I said that way wrong. Anyway,
Letranga.
While we're Letranga, yeah. So while we were talking to Andrew Kramer and stuff like that, he came up, and here's the thing. It's like you meet Andrew Kramer, you're gonna fanboy out. You meet any of these people, you're gonna fanboy out. And I totally get that because I was closet fanboying out.
Yeah.
While we were all talking.
Gotta prevent myself from fanboying.
So he came up and he kind of interrupted us, and he's like, "Hey, Andrew, I just want to say how much I like blah blah blah. Can I get a picture?" And I was like, "Hey, I'll take your picture," because I come from a background of when you're at Disney World and someone is trying to take a picture of their family, you say, "Hey, I'll take a picture of you guys so that they have this memory together." Anyway, and I didn't want him to have to do a selfie. So, but here was my great thing that I love doing. He handed me his phone, and I immediately turned it on selfie mode and took a couple selfies of myself before I took a picture of them together. And so he sent us an email, and it was so funny. He said, I interrupted you guys at HalfRez talking to Andrew Kramer so I could get my picture with him. I was nervous as hell. I've been following it online for about 10 years, and I appreciate you taking the picture. And I noticed days later you took a picture of yourself first. I had it set up in selfie mode, which he didn't. I actually turned it on to selfie mode so that I could take a picture. He said, that's awesome and makes you my new favorite people. Next time I'll interrupt Andrew to say hi to you. Oh, booyah. That was really cool. That was super cool. So we got that email today.
That's great.
Cool. And what was cool is like, you know, he must have known us. Like, I don't know if he even knew who we were. I don't know. He must have, you know, since he sent us the email. Either that or he, you know, Facebook looked up my face.
Yeah, he did a face tracker.
Right. Anyway, so where were we?
So we decided to go to Cobra because they. Now here's the thing.
No. You got to say it like EJ was saying it. EJ was saying,
Cobra. So, yeah,
and doing the just do it.
Oh my gosh,
just do it.
I have video of David Brodeur going, just do it. Well, let's see if I can actually find it real quick. I'll play it on.
EJ was doing it pretty hardcore too.
Oh my gosh, them going back and forth, like EJ and David just going back and forth going, just do it. So
we were just trying to get out of there. Like everybody was just hanging out and just they were trying to kick us out and everybody was just chilling and hanging out. And we're like, why don't we just go before they close?
Here, let me see if you guys can hear it.
Yeah, I was like, hey guys, Cobra's going to close in 30 minutes.
And let's do it!
Anyway, that's David Brodeur saying,
that's awesome.
Let's do it.
So we here's the thing. We went to Cobra, and we got there just in time to have literally one drink.
Yeah,
and then they closed.
We had to chug our drinks.
They were fully kicking us out. Yes,
they were like, get out of here.
Little do you guys know that it was at this point that I chose. This was my in with Andrew Kramer. All right.
Oh yeah.
This is when I dropped the idea of like him being on the show. You guys didn't know this. You guys
I know. I was watching you from afar.
I was like, hey, Matt's got Andrew Kramer in a booth to himself. I'm gonna sit down on this.
So like, yeah, Chris Schmidt, you know, which I introduced myself to, and I doubt he will remember us at all. He goes over and he puts his stuff down. He's like, hey, will you watch it? I'm like, yeah, totally. So I sit down at this table. I'm letting everyone do their own thing. And like, Andrew Kramer comes up and he just sits down, you know, he's talking. And so I start asking him questions about like Element 3D and, you know, how he got started and stuff like that. You know, I was like, hey, you should be on the podcast, man. We'd love to have you. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. You know, it's one of those things where like, I feel like he's a different person once you can kind of get him alone or like,
totally.
You know,
he's got his like crowd face on most of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, someone come up to him, oh man, you're such an inspiration to me. Oh, thanks, man. You know,
yeah.
But then it's like you start asking questions and, you know, kind of getting to know him better or whatever, that he kind of opens up. I don't know. So
totally.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was very cool.
Well, what I didn't realize is that the bars in Chicago, most of them close at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
What? So we just went to the wrong bar.
They all get to just choose whenever they want to close.
Yeah, so we could have gone somewhere that closed at 4.
Yeah, we could have.
Should have done that.
Andrew was saying that there's some. He was. Now I can't give anything away, but he was teasing some very good stuff coming up in a new update of Element, which I'm very excited about. So,
and I met Nick's wife at that point too.
Yeah, we met
totally.
Nick's wife. She's very tall. Like they're
She's
a
very
tall couple. They're very tall couple.
They're the beautiful people. What can I say?
They are the beautiful people.
Yeah.
So at this point we're like all outside, right? And we're hanging out. And actually at that point we said goodbye to Nick, and he said that we should come on their podcast sometime.
Yeah.
Which that would be fun. That would be fun.
Big cross promotion podcast.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then so all of a sudden, I don't know how this happened. We're thinking, okay, well, at this point, we're probably going to go back to the Airbnb. At this point, EJ still hadn't even been to the Airbnb with us yet, you know, which is ridiculous. And so at that point, like all of a sudden, it's like, I think you're like, all right, we're going to Chris Schmidt's house. Like, what?
Yep.
What?
Yeah, Chris Schmidt's inviting us to his house.
My favorite thing was that someone called a Uber and then canceled the Uber as the Uber got there.
I had my magical Uber. I called the Uber and it was already there. I was like, oh, here it is. Let's go, guys. We're going to beat Chris Schmidt to his own house. See you later.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of one of those things you're just like, what? We're going to his house?
He was like, my brothers are going to be so pissed.
Yeah. Well, and then at that point, there's not much more I don't think we should talk about.
No. What? This is the best part. Are you kidding me?
Anyway, we went to Chris Schmidt's house. It was cool. We were hanging out, and like, he was a little drunk.
You have to at least talk about the shh.
He's so funny. He comes in and he's trying to keep us quiet because, like, his brothers are sleeping, blah blah blah. And we're basically having a party at his house.
Yeah.
So he comes in and he's like, shh.
Like loud,
and so everyone just starts shushing at the same time. And really, the shushing was so loud, we literally could have just been talking the whole time.
Oh, I don't know how his brothers didn't wake up.
Yeah,
that was kind of amazing.
So here's what's cool. It's like, we all go and hang out in his room, and he's got this balcony and stuff. It's really cool. It's a really cool house.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
Yeah,
it was great. Who came? It was us, Paul.
Paul
Andrew
was there.
Kramer.
EJ, Andrew Kramer. Was there.
Yeah. Our new friend
David Brodeur,
Colin,
Jake Vardaman.
Also, who could forget their intern?
Oh my gosh! Who could forget that guy?
Oh no, we're forgetting his name. But he was very amazing.
He was very French.
Very French.
We met D Shark from Reddit.
From
the Cinema 4D subreddit.
Yep.
And Colin.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Colin. What is it? I'm gonna say this all wrong. It's like
Ivan is their intern, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it?
I don't know.
Ivan?
I think it's Ivan.
Yeah.
Ivano, I think his name was. Anyway.
Okay.
So we're all hanging out, and then we're like, awesome. let's play some Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah. So, well, that's because of the promo deal that Chris and Nick did for them.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's like, this was a surreal moment for me. I'm sitting on a couch with Andrew Kramer.
Yep.
Paul Babs right next to him.
Yep.
Next to Dave. And then there's EJ, David Brodeur, Chris Schmidt, all of us are literally hanging out in a room, like
playing Cards Against Humanity.
All my heroes, we're all just like hanging out together, just shooting the crap. It
was awesome,
and Falcon in a fez or Falcon in a South
Falcon with a cap on its head. And Andrew was very like some people were taking it seriously and some people were really drunk, so it was very hard to get the game started. Like there was kind of a mess. Awful. Like the rules were going out the window. And like Andrew wanted to do it seriously, but also we kept switching teams. Like it didn't make any sense. It's like the person now you have to get up and judge, and then you're going to be on this other person's team. It's like what? That kind of anyway. Yeah. But yeah, Andrew was like, I just you guys aren't going to be funny, so like he was just heckling all of us. It was great. But yeah, and then eventually I was on EJ's team. And towards the end of the game, I don't know if we told you this, Matt, but EJ and I cheated.
Oh, I know you guys were cheating. Like, you guys literally had, like, all the cards and were going through. And yet you still picked Falcon with a hat on or whatever.
Cap on its head. Yeah.
Did you see the tweet?
No.
You didn't see the tweet? So Jake tagged everyone, like all the big people who were at that thing, and he had photoshopped a Falcon with a cap on his head.
Oh, that's amazing.
So ridiculous. I tweeted back at him and I was like, I'm pretty sure you played that awful card just so you could do this tweet.
Yeah. Anyway. That's great. But yeah, EJ like went through and found all the best cards like towards the end because we had crap cards, right? Yeah. When I was on the other team, we were with David Brodeur. We were actually doing pretty well.
Yeah. But I would say they probably won the game.
Yeah, I think so.
If I hadn't cheated and made my team won by saying winner take all, and I was the one who was choosing.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, it was really fun. EJ and I were like debating over which was the funniest, and yeah.
Anyway, so
good
that's
times,
also we got to see Chris Schmidt's Legos. Did you see those? He had like epic Lego collections.
Sweet.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. So he's got a great view from his balcony. Really
That's
cool.
True.
Anyway, everyone we met was super, super cool. We had a really good time.
Totally.
And then we left the next morning. We were all out of
Oh my gosh.
ORD except for Matt.
What?
Yeah, that sucked. You had a different airport.
Oh yeah.
You were in Midway.
Dude, my Uber driver, so she picked me up, we were chatting, just having a good time, because I'm the type of person who just can't not talk to someone,
Right.
And so like we're talking because we also had an hour drive to the airport.
Right.
And so she was like, "Oh yeah, I got a kid," because we were talking about kids. She's like, "I got an 18-month-old. I was driving 18-wheelers and I was 6 months pregnant before I actually found out I was pregnant." I'm like, "What?"
Oh my gosh.
All right. So, anyways, that was fun. Yeah.
Ours was pretty bad. Like when you remember when you and I were on the way in, that woman was like listening to hardcore calypso Christian music on the way in, which was really weird. And then when we went to the airport, when you had already left for Midway, this woman was listening to Joel Osteen on 11.
Oh gosh.
And then having a conversation with us while he's like blaring. It's like, turn down your Joel Osteen.
I got converted there for a moment.
And at some point she turns it back up. We're like she is the one talking to us and she's turning it up like she's gonna she's even listening to it.
This is why you pay for the premium Uber.
Exactly.
It was bad.
What
I
did
did find out talking to our Uber driver that actually Uber drivers, Uber is cheaper than Lyft, but Lyft, okay, so Lyft, I think they make 20% of the fare, and Uber they make 10%.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Oh no, Uber takes 10%, and Lyft takes 20%. No.
Oh.
It's the other way around. Sorry.
Okay.
Lyft is more expensive, and they only take 10% of what the fare is,
Right.
But Uber is cheaper and they take 20%. So whatever your fare is, they're still making 80% of whatever it is, which is really good. Cause like, say that girl took me to the airport, it cost $50. She made $40 in that hour.
Yeah.
That's $40 an hour. That's really
That
good.
means my Uber Select drivers were making bank.
Right?
You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we all went to the airport. We had a nice little breakfast there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
And with
my
EJ
gosh,
talking about.
I was so tired, like ridiculously tired, because we didn't get back to the Airbnb until like 4:30 in the morning. And we had and so like our Airbnb, man, it was nice. It was mega nice. It had windows. Nice. It was in a corner apartment or whatever, and so had windows like all the way around. And EJ stole my bed. So I was sleeping on the couch, and as soon as that sun came up, man, it was like, I'm up. So 7:15 in the morning.
You got like 2 hours of sleep.
Oh, yeah. It was awful. And I even got up, took a shower, got ready, and I was just so awful tired.
And I had to go to Philly, and man, when I got on that flight, I was out.
Dude, here's the thing. Like, when I get on a plane, if I can relax enough, I will sleep, and I will sleep hard. But if I even think for one moment that like I start putting negative thoughts out there that the plane is going to crash, I panic and I cannot sleep.
Yeah. Totally.
It's awful. Like I saw this one video.
Being on planes does make you very aware of your mortality, I feel.
Yeah.
In spite of the fact that it's safer. Yeah.
Right.
Have you seen this video, the video of the plane crash where like basically what happened was the plane was lifting off and it had like some big cargo or something, like a car or something, and it like shifts all the way to the back as they're lifting up, and it just crashes.
No.
Man, it is hardcore. Crazy. I'm going to find it. I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah,
but like I think about that every single time I get on a plane, and that will keep me up.
The thing is that can't happen with a commercial airliner.
Yeah.
Because that was a cargo airliner and they didn't strap it in right, and it was like an empty plane. Like that can't happen in a commercial airliner because like there's compartments and stuff. Like nothing can shift like that. And there's the whole top of it is people. Like this is just not the same thing. So that can't happen that way. Yeah, it just free falls down and it explodes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
this is so
I've
crazy.
watched that a million times. I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah. And it's, oh my gosh.
I was on a flight today on the way home.
Here, I'm sending it to you right now, David, so you can watch it.
Sweet.
So I was on the way back from one this morning, dude, and it was awful. It was hardcore turbulence. Hardcore turbulence for 3 hours straight without stopping. Even when we hit clear air, it was bad.
Gosh.
awful.
I would just be white knuckling that the whole time.
Oh yeah, it was one of those things where you can.
Oh my god!
Right?
I know, right? Anyway,
so disturbing.
It was one of those things where when you can hear the wind, pushing the plane because it's so just turbulent and crazy outside, and you can feel the plane like not being pushed like left or right, like turning, but like you can feel the plane getting pushed left and right.
Yeah.
And dropping and just bumpy. And even when it wasn't ultra turbulent, like the plane was just shaking. Just shaking. Dude, 3 hours of that. I was white knuckling it for 3 hours.
Yeah.
As much as I fly, I was just like, I can't take this. And my nerves were shot by the end of that.
David, you look in shock right now.
Yeah, my kids. This is terrible. I mean, this is like people dying. It's messed up.
I think there were only 3 people on that flight. Because it was a cargo flight, but that's the thing. It's like there's not the same regulations because that was like Russia or something. It's not the same regulations. There's not the same safety stuff. It's a cargo plane. It does say U.S. cargo plane, but it wasn't a U.S. cargo plane.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was, what is it? Bagram Air Force.
Oh, this happened in 2013.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I remember seeing it when it happened. It was just like ridiculous.
Anyway, what else we got?
So we got some other like non-HalfRez stuff we can talk about.
Yeah. Cool. Let's do it.
I had a weird Premiere error this week that I thought I would talk about.
Okay.
And we were doing some encodes for some people this week, and it was long form encoding. And there were some segments that I cut out of the original, and it had audio blanks in it for like, I don't know, a second or 2 seconds or something. And so this is all stuff where I cut it up and, did some fade outs, fade ins and whatnot. And then I sent them to the render queue to do some MPEG-4 encoding. Well, all the places where there were blank audio and not an audio track, the audio would repeat itself. So like it's the end of a segment and someone says, "Thank you very much. Very much, very much, very much," and then the next section starts. And so, these are long encodes, and so I do them all. It's like 8 hours worth of encoding, and then they're like, there are these weird glitches in it. I'm like, what?
See, and so you and I ran into that on the road a few weeks ago. Like it kept on doing that over and over again when we were watching it. It would just start repeating that. Remember? And that was because we were breaking it up in between, like, 2 separate audio tracks, and we'd have gaps in there.
So my solution was to just take an audio track and just take the gain all the way down and put it underneath everything. So there was one long audio track under everything of nothing, just so it's seamless. And I don't understand why. I mean, that's never happened to me before.
I don't know.
Why hasn't anybody brought that up?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be an update for it at some point.
It's weird. Shouldn't be doing that. And I don't know if that's something that has to do with the queue as well, or if it still happens if you're doing just a random export that's not going to media encoder.
Because I think I was doing just regular exports. I wasn't doing it through the queue, and it was still giving me that problem. Yeah.
So Matt.
Oh, you know what my solution was?
What's that?
Solution was to actually render the audio or render that section, and it worked fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you can do
that's
that.
Right.
So it was like 45 minutes or something, right?
Oh, it was an hour and a half long.
Yeah. You said so, Matt. You're what? What am I?
You are going on tour. You're going to go
on tour. Yes.
Yeah. So
get my first real taste of what you guys have been doing for all these years.
Yeah. I didn't actually go on tour very much. I just made the stuff for the touring visuals or for the tour, and I would do like rehearsals. So I'd be in this kind of dank, dark cave for like 2 or 3 weeks. But other than that, I didn't really go on tour. Didn't really travel a whole lot. I kind of followed around one of the dudes from the band for a little while, kind of making a faux weird, like almost documentary thing.
Right.
But that was its own kind of crazy adventure. But that wasn't really like your average touring experience or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I've got some advice for Matt.
Oh boy.
Here's the advice. I'll probably think of some more later, but here's my advice for being on the road for the first time. Number 1, be extremely anal.
Okay.
So the whole just bring out your inner Dave.
Okay.
Dave.
I try and push that
anal.
inner Dave far, far away.
Yeah. Super anal about everything. Think like 10 steps ahead on everything all the time, so that you don't forget anything at all. Especially once the show starts.
Yeah.
Like you've got to be on your toes. Got to think ahead. You got to be.
This is Dave putting the fear of God in you.
Yeah, sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
Always be busy. There's always something to do.
ABC, always be busy.
ABC, always be busy. And be like, of course, be willing to help out at all times. Like if you're not working.
Yeah.
You know, so basically, like, be busy, find stuff to do. Don't be on your phone, or computer or whatever, unless there's like zero anything to do. You know what I mean? Like if you're done with your stuff, like see if you can help someone else. Like that's kind of the mentality of being on the road.
This is also good advice for film sets.
Yeah,
but I
totally.
never follow that advice. I'm such a jerk. Like film sets, like it's like everybody's supposed to pitch in and stuff.
Yeah.
But like when I'm done with my job, like people can't tell if I'm busy or not because I'm very isolated. I'm the guy behind the computers, like bringing everything in. So I'll just sit there and watch tutorials. Like I don't give a crap.
Funny.
It's one of those things
terrible.
like if someone sees you like surfing Facebook or whatever, and there's
Doesn't look
I mean,
professional.
like if I'm doing a show and I have an hour, I'm in the show. There's an hour between one cue and another cue. There's nothing to do at that point. You're just waiting. You can't go do something else. The show has already started. Yeah, you get on your Facebook, whatever. Nobody cares about that. But like during load in, during that kind of thing, and then always watch your step. There's always stuff on the ground, and always watch your head, watch your back. Like there's always stuff to trip on. There's always stuff that you could bump your head into. It's always dark, that kind of thing. So like just, ABC, always be watching.
Yeah.
And,
what is that from? What are you guys talking about?
It's just this thing I do where like anytime I say always be something, and no matter if the third thing starts with a C or not, I just say
it's always ABC.
Yeah.
We were playing Halo the other day, and like I had never played Halo, so like he's kind of like it's just me and him one-on-one, and I'm like trying to figure out all the controls and stuff like that.
It was like one of those montage segments where we were training
me how to be better at Halo.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Anyways, and he's like, just always be jumping. ABC, always be jumping. And so I'm like, okay, ABC, always be jumping. It took me 3 days to realize that ABC does not start always be jumping.
Because for selling, I'm like, ABC, awesome. Always be selling.
Yeah. You just slip in under the radar and people don't notice or whatever.
I just remember it was funny because we were in an empty arena, like just training and stuff, and there was this point where I was just jumping and thrusting around with my character and not shooting or anything, and Matt was trying to get me for like 10 minutes. I'm just jumping around him, jumping over him, jumping left and right. And like
and here's the thing, like God. I just get
I
get too overzealous about the aiming, and I'm like I get super excited that I see someone, and then I just start like aiming all over the place.
Totally.
Anyway.
So yeah. Oh, and you won't be on a tour bus on this particular tour, but if you're ever on a tour bus, there's the rule about the bathroom.
What is the rule about the bathroom?
You never take a dump in a tour bus.
Okay, good to know.
If anybody, sometimes people don't tell you that because they don't know that you're new. You're not supposed to do that. Like the tour buses aren't designed to do that, and if you do it, you really screw things up.
Okay.
And it stinks up the whole bus. And like we were on a tour once with one of my buddies, and I brought him on, and he hadn't toured before, and he didn't even know, and I forgot to tell him, and he went in there and he took a dump, and I was like, oh my gosh! I'm like, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. We're gonna hope that it just breaks up down there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You don't take a dump on the tour bus.
That's funny. Okay, good to know.
I'll probably think of some more words of advice for touring, but
All right. I'm really excited. Like, I'm excited to go all these places, Like, it's cool because we get in a day early and I've got like some time or whatever. So like, we're going to Portland. I get to hang out with I'm going to try and hang out with some of my Portland peeps, because I lived there for a year. Then New York City, I'm going to try and meet up with my brother-in-law and his girlfriend. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Maybe Chicago, I'll go hit up the planetarium.
Yeah.
Planetarium.
Or just go hang out at Grayscale Gorilla or something.
Yeah, totally. I'll just show up at Chris Schmidt's house. Hey guys. Want to do a tutorial?
Hey guys. It's crazy that all three Schmidt brothers kind of run that place.
I know.
And they all look so similar.
So similar.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
The weird thing that happened is like I'm going up to the first show with Matt up to Portland. My neighbors are coming back from Portland on the exact same flight. I just thought that was weird. Like of all like people in the world that are going to be on that one flight at that one time, going from that
door neighbors.
Place to here is my next door neighbors.
Yeah. I always worry that I'm going to like, because I got a lot of people that don't like me or that I don't like, from way back in my youth. And I'm always worried that I'm going to end up on a flight with some of those people.
What does it matter?
I don't know. Just saying.
It's not terribly likely.
Not terribly likely, no.
but
it's always a thought in my head.
Yeah, the anxiety.
Yeah, see, add that on top of the fear of a plane crashing.
Of dying?
Yeah.
Only thing worse than dying is sitting next to people you don't like.
Right?
On an airplane.
So I wanted to get into two small topics real quick.
We got topics?
Yeah, we got topics.
Right.
Are we just gonna play? Are we gonna play Halo now? We should just start playing Halo in the middle of the podcast.
We're gonna go about 25 more minutes, I think. These are quick. Number one is work-life balance during big projects, because this is what's going on right now. Is like I'm on the road now. Matt's on the road. We're working on lots of big projects here. I mean, our calendar is ridiculous right now.
Which feels very good.
It feels great. But like someone calls up, they're like, well, we need to do a meeting. I'm like, literally the 1 hour that I have between now and the second month of October is right here. So this is the only place that I can do it. I mean, that's a great thing. But on the other side of that too is that like we're scheduling things and our wives are kind of like SOL. you know, it's like, sorry, you've got to you've got to kind of deal with this right now and hope for the best, and then we'll have money for Christmas.
That's the big thing. We're just hoping for that good Christmas bonus.
Yeah.
Just keep hitting on that Christmas promise.
Here's the thing, like, and I asked my wife before we took on this job or whatever before we agreed to it, and she's been saying she knows that the money's really good on the road, and she's like, you need to start doing this stuff, you need to start doing this. So that's what she's been telling me. So like I knew the answer was probably going to be yes, but I went ahead and asked her anyway. She's like, before I said, hey, so there's this tour coming up and they kind of want me to do it, and she's like, yes, do it. Like I didn't even have to mention money or anything. She's just like, yes, do it. So
that's cool.
Yeah, she's the best. I love her.
The whole thing is like, you try and do like this work-life balance, but sometimes these big projects come up, because you go through the ebbs and flows and whatnot, and you've got like, some weeks where you're not doing much, and then all of a sudden like a million projects hit at once. And there's kind of like, especially if you're married or if you have a girlfriend, whatever it is, and you've got to kind of, it's something that, you got to kind of deal with, is that you got to make do during that time, because you know that it's only temporary. Like if it were like this all the time, that would be one thing.
Yeah.
That would be really rough. But I know it's not going to be like this. We're going to hit the holidays. It's going to slow down, and then things will kind of get back to normal.
I don't know. Your last year, your holidays were crazy busy.
They were.
Your last holidays were so busy that you were able to quit your job and do
this
full time.
Except the problem is that the Christmas happens in January, and that all the stuff that I was working on was like finishing up at the holidays, to where then when January came around, there was other stuff picking up in January, but none of that stuff got paid until February. So there was this gap where in January, like we literally made like no money when it comes down to it last year, because there was all the stuff before and all the stuff after January, but nothing in between.
Yeah. We've had one or two of those gaps.
Well, no,
Anyway.
not like that one.
Not like that one.
Not like that one. It was bad, and like the whole thing is that you've got to deal with that. If you're going to be doing contract work, if you're going to be running your own business, that kind of thing is going to happen. And it's just kind of like we talked about, quoted Dan Benjamin saying the only way out is through.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
you
totally.
get to that point, you just dive in. I mean, you're not going to have time to do anything on the side. You're barely going to have Halo time.
Man, I played
You
a
know,
bunch of
worst.
Halo today. I will tell you,
Yeah.
it is such a relief. Like, it is a
It's super
release.
fun.
It's a
you know?
stress reliever.
It is. Being able to pwn some noobs. Man, I've been in the
Unless
best
you're getting
mood today.
destroyed over and over again.
Yeah, the other day I was doing terrible, and I was just like, what's the
Yeah.
point of playing this game?
Yeah,
That was
totally.
when I, couldn't aim at anyone.
Do you
I still
remember
do, but-
there was one day that we really had a bad day, like a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, and I was like, all right, I'm getting on this. And I just went on this freaking rampage.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome.
I got
He
like
had
30
23
kills. No, it was like
That's
30
awesome.
kills.
Yeah.
It was insane.
sweet.
And like, I was like, yeah, that's right. It was like killing spree, Top Gun.
That's awesome.
Like,
Top Gun.
It's like
Overkill.
overkill.
Kilimanjaro.
I got a triple kill.
That's a thing. That's
it?
one of the
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like 7. It's like overkill, killtacular. I don't know. I can't
But
remember.
what's his name in House of Cards?
Mm-hmm.
He was always playing. Was it Call of Duty or something on
Something like
PlayStation?
that. I don't
It was
know.
like his stress reliever.
It depends.
It really is
on
a
what
stress
season you
reliever.
watch.
Totally.
Season
Yeah.
2 was Monument Valley.
Monument Valley.
That's what he was playing.
Oh,
in
that's
season
right.
2.
That's right.
Anyway.
So,
By the way,
Yeah.
I just got a 4K TV and was watching. I wanted to test it out, so I watched. I put on Fuller House. It's one of the 4K specific ones, and
No
man,
way.
it looks good. It looks really
That's
good.
awesome.
But what's crazy is like you can actually like see set pieces, like and tell they're set pieces.
yeah. You just wanted to see Stephanie in 4K.
Man.
So, what was I going to... Oh, I was going to say, do you want to tell the story of why you got a new TV?
No.
Uh-oh.
It's so depressing. My kid broke my TV, but he's safe. It fell on top of him, and it was very sad. And like it kind of like I don't know. That's a really depressing thing to go through, because
Yeah.
like you hear all these horror stories. I'm not a bad
yeah.
dad. I am not a bad dad.
Right.
That something like that happens, and it just like I don't know. You feel like the worst parent in the entire world. It's because
Well, now
I
you're
didn't have it
gonna-
on the wall. As soon as I got
Yeah.
this new one, I mounted it on the wall, and trust me, that was a headache.
Yeah.
I stripped so many screws, and like they're thick screws, and they're stuck in the middle of the wall. I'm like, I don't know how to get these out. Anyway,
Dude, I went through, like, no, I when it was on my 30th birthday.
yeah, no, this is and it's fun. It's funny. That's the exact same like story that I had in my head, like that you would relate to.
Oh, really?
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I told you about that. On my
Yeah.
30th birthday, Emily choked on something
Yeah.
Oh, no.
at my birthday party and, like, was turning blue. And everybody was there around as she was, like, not breathing. And, like, ended up, someone told me to turn her upside down, and I turned her upside down, and it came out, and she threw up everywhere.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
like I went
That's
into
so
like
scary.
a 5-day deep depression after
Sucks.
that. Like I wasn't there after that. I opened presents, I think. I don't remember.
Right.
Like, man, something like that happens and you're just like, man, that was just so close.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, you guys both your kids survived, and now you
Yeah.
know what to do in the future. I
yeah.
guess.
I guarantee.
Bolt your TV down.
I bolted my TV down. I bolted
Yeah.
every single one of my pieces of furniture. Man, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I
but
wanted to
put it
talk.
out, I put it out on the curb, outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For bulk trash. Bulk trash came like 2 days later. It was on the curb for 1 hour before someone took it. I don't know why
Crazy.
they'd want it. You can't buy replacement parts for it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Metal. It's got to be metal.
Maybe.
Did it look broken?
No, not
It
at
looks
all.
broken. Oh, okay. Well, maybe they
probably
just wanted
thought
to
it
see
was-
if it was broken.
Yeah, maybe.
This guy's getting rid of this awesome TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
I just
wanted
noticed
to.
the HalfRez skateboard on your wall. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about PF Track a little bit.
Oh yeah,
as our
PF
last
Track.
topic.
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna tune out now.
Yeah. See you guys later.
Call me when you start
sick
talking
right
about
now, so I'm like,
Buju.
yeah.
Actually, you guys talk. I'm gonna run to the restroom.
I wish you would.
Excellent.
So we were talking about this the other day when we were eating, because I was like, I've always learned something new about PF Track every time I use it.
Totally.
And the one thing that I really found helpful this week, when you'll get to a point where you have a track and it's like not quite there, like there's something a little bit off about it. The one thing that really helped me this week is taking those ground plane objects and what is the thing called?
It's a constraint.
Constraint, right?
Yeah. You can do a planar constraint where it's like you've got the wall and you're like, this thing is flat. And you're like,
right.
And that will help kind of sometimes it'll break it and make it worse.
Well,
but
that's true.
It'll make it better.
But constraining XZ for my floor really helps.
And I mean, for that,
week.
you have to have, like, a lot of the time my scenes are like, organic, like out in the woods or whatever. Like I don't get a lot of shots that are like in a room or whatever. So like I can't a lot of the time be like, this is a planar thing, because it's all mush, it's same thing for the, when you're orienting the scene and you're like, you can set the axis mode or whatever. You can be like, this is the Y-axis, this is the Z-axis, this is X. Like, a lot of the time I can't do that because my scenes don't have any straight lines.
You don't have any reference.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, but then there's the other one that's even where I've tried to use the box one, where you can like set a box and you can show, you could like kind of line it up. But it seems like that box always like does weird stuff whenever I try to use it.
I don't know if I've used that mode. The one I use the most is I just marquee select a bunch of points on the floor, wherever that is, and say, this is the XZ plane. And that kind of gets it in the ballpark. And then from there, I just like rotate it a little bit, or kind of, you can cheat it up and down. You can do translation, rotation kind of stuff. And then I get it close enough. So yeah.
What was the other thing you were telling me about this week?
My whole workflow. So I guess I do like auto tracking, and I use the optical flow kind of thing. And then let's see, what else do I do? I think I was probably telling you about the image modeling, where you can kind of say, you can set, like, create a plane or something.
Yeah.
And then you can like adjust the plane to wherever you want it to be. Say it's a tree, right? And then you move a little bit down your timeline, and then it's, really far off where, it's not in the right place in Z space. And then you just move the plane back to where it should be. And just in 2 moves, it'll basically lock to where that actual thing is, if that makes sense.
Because it figures out this is here over here, and then it's over here later.
Exactly. And it's got some really clever ways to do that. So I do that with, I typically use planes, but you can use spheres and different types of geometry, and then kind of just get them. It's a lot easier to get those in place than it would be for, like, if you're trying to do that just in Cinema 4D or whatever. And then that stuff will come seamlessly into Cinema 4D through the FBX.
There's some really good stuff in PF Track that I feel like I'm always learning something else. It's like some of these other programs where there's just so much to learn. You'll never learn everything. Like Buju is great, but it doesn't have that many options.
I don't know if people are using Buju that much anymore. I mean, like hey,
it was the only thing that worked for that one project.
Yeah.
Right. People use Synthize a lot because it's the cheapest, but it's also like really good. But it's also probably harder to learn. PF Track's really good, and then there's another one that I'm blanking on the name of that's like the most professional one. Anyway,
over PF Track?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I forget.
I used Synthize to start. That's the first one I learned on.
Cool.
But I like PF Track.
That's funny.
More.
I thought Synthize was the auto.
Every time I try to get online,
audio sync.
That's pluralized.
That's pluralized. Yeah, I get that one confused. Anyway,
that's not a tracker at all.
No, it's not.
But yeah, I was gonna look up what that other tracker is, but every time I get online, my internet just freaks out. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, so PF Track, if you want to learn more about it, FX PhD did a ton of really good tutorials on it that I can send you.
Cool.
If you're interested. Yeah.
I'll have to check them out. The thing is, there's all the options in there, and then there's other things too that I don't know sometimes if I'm doing it right or if there's more than one way to do it. Like for example, like you use masks.
Yeah, I do.
For moving people and stuff you want to take out,
Yeah, way the trackers never lock on to them to begin with. I mean, I still will delete trackers as well, but I find it actually takes more time to delete all the trackers on a person than it does to just mask it out real quick.
Mm-hmm. See, I need to try that instead.
Yeah.
Because I go in and I just do that. I marquee and I just delete stuff in the end, but I should probably do it that way.
I delete points that are on like edges because edges are not reliable. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then I obviously stuff that's like a reflection or like stuff that's just jittery. You can like remove half of a track on a single point.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I'll end up like if I've got really hard tracks, I end up just manually tracking. So I'll just put in all the points myself. And you can combine that. You can actually pipe your auto tracks into your manual track. So combining the two of those together sometimes gets you the best results.
The other thing too is
gonna say.
Yeah, duh.
Do you ever go into the error thing? Do you go into the error tracker and find the ones that are sticking out a lot and just delete them?
Yes. Yeah, I just exactly with that you can just trim it down and you just kind of find a sweet spot and keep resolving the scene, hitting the refine button, and then eventually it'll snap or get close enough. And another thing I do to check if it's a good enough track is like if you go to your like 3D view, you can see like kind of the path that your camera's taken. Do you know what I'm talking about? So like you can go to your multiple views, and like on that one, you can rotate around and see the path. And a lot of the time, here's a good example, like if it's a dolly shot, like say you're dollying horizontally and the camera is like panning at the same time, right? That would look like, does that make sense what I'm describing?
Yeah.
So like, you're dollying to the side or tracking along, and the camera is rotating to fix on, it's just panning to fix on your subject, right?
Right.
And so that kind of looks like a camera orbit, but it's not the same, right? It's actually moving linearly and panning versus a curved track would give you a slightly different look. And if you're on set, obviously you know which of those it really was.
Right.
But, a lot of the time, like, that's like a pretty subtle difference. PF track will get confused, and you'll know when you hit it when you've got like the camera moving in a straight line. Like you can kind of see like what that camera path looks like, and if it's looks legit, basically.
Yeah,
it's another thing that I find helpful.
Straight up.
But yeah, I found camera tracking to be just like an art of like banging your head against the wall until it works well enough.
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe you can do some tutorials on that eventually for us.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Totally.
That'd be sweet.
By the way, I have finally finished my room that I'm going to do for my interior lighting in Octane V-Ray, and now Arnold. I'm going to do an Arnold interior one too.
So cool. Sweet.
I think I'm going to do that. And as soon as we get a free week, that's it may be actually the end of the week, because I think we're kind of clear up this week after DFWC 4D.
Oh, that's what you think. I got some other stuff coming up here that I haven't talked to you about yet.
Well, crap.
For the end of the week. So,
the last thing we talked about.
I'm on a shoot Friday. So,
Dave, the last thing that we were talking about is how neither of us ever undistort and redistort because it's too much of a pain in the ass.
Oh, I know. That's true. Yeah,
like I haven't found like that it makes enough of a difference that it's worth it to me. So maybe I'm just not looking closely enough, but yeah.
Yeah, our buddy Joe does that, especially if he's going to bring stuff into Nuke. And then he like puts the distort back on in the end. But yeah, I'm one of those people who like I just completely ignore the undistort and redistort and all that.
Totally.
What's the benefits of turning it like undistorting and then redistorting?
Because CG doesn't work in a world with curved lines, and so the computer's not going to understand the actual distortion as well. Because it assumes that all lines are straight, basically.
Right. Okay. And then so you got to just go in and put it back in on the end.
Right.
Interesting. Does that mess
it messes the track up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, does it like do you lose quality by doing that in the end?
I don't think so.
Not really. But
Just
usually
curious.
what you do is you'll go into something like Nuke and you'll have a lens profile, which will undistort it, and then you export that and you bring that into PF Track.
Can you do it the other way around too, or maybe not? I can't remember.
Well, usually it's better that way because then you have your straight lines going in.
Gotcha.
And then when you're done, you just put it back. So PF Track doesn't even think about it. You can do your other stuff in Nuke and not even get to that point. I mean, they have tools for it in PF Track just in case, but
right, I get you. Oh yeah, and the last thing I was going to say real quick is on this project I was working on recently where I did like a camera takeover, I discovered that it's really easy and fun to I'm like all obsessed with camera morphs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I realized that like a really good way to do a camera takeover is through a camera morph. So like remember that end shot of that particles thing that I was doing? So like you can morph between a camera with animation on it and another camera with animation on it, or a camera with animation and a static camera.
Yeah.
So like usually you just like set your different cameras, right? And it'll animate between those. But in this case, I had my tracked animating camera and I basically just blended from that into my other cameras, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that was kind of a fun workflow to discover.
And the other thing that I do once I get that, because of course it starts on frame 1. We were talking about that the other day.
Oh yeah, this is the problem I always have is I always start on frame 0 in my sequences. So when I bring it into Cinema 4D, the first thing I do is like open up all the keyframes for the camera and just shift them back to frame 0. So yeah, you can do it either way.
Either way. Yeah. And then the first thing that I do when I bring in that FBX is I go to the camera itself. And I hit the keyframe button because it doesn't keyframe one of the values.
Rotation and scale, maybe?
Yeah, so you'll move it around and all of a sudden the whole thing will be ruined. That's the first thing that you got to do when you bring in the FBX. The other thing, too, is that at that point, what I like to do is take like 1 or 2 of those points that I know what they are from the track and figure out what scale that is. And then I'll make a cube or something that's about that scale in order to get my scale matching, and then I will take the entire track itself and do a scale of the whole thing to match, and then move it where it needs to go. Because, like, if I'm putting somebody in a room, I don't want to move the room to match the track. I want the track to match the room, because if you take the room and you like rotate it and scale it, and move it around, then if you have to go back and you have to work on your scene, then all of your orientation is off for your scene. You're not going like perfectly, perfect, your floor isn't lined up with X and Z anymore. So all the stuff inside, it's all off. You start having all sorts of weird problems when you try and keyframe stuff. The best thing to do is just move the track to match the scene that you've built. So
Totally.
Yeah, these would all make good tutorials.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and did you guys see Chad Ashley's tutorial about image sequences in After Effects and how fast they play back? I thought that was really cool. He found out that DPX sequences play back crazy fast.
So I did see the link to it. I didn't get to check it out.
You should check it out. It's a really cool breakdown. And also, it was interesting because I just had this problem. Like, usually I render out of Octane and I don't do much multi-pass stuff. I just do like one and done kind of thing. But for this most recent project I was doing, standard renderer, and I had a bunch of passes for different particle kind of effects, and I was coloring them differently. So I had a bunch of TIFF sequences, and it was bogging After Effects down like crazy, right? And so if I had just done DPX, it would have been way faster. And even like half float EXRs seem to be like better than TIFFs and stuff. He's got a cool breakdown, and it was like, it's one of those things that we're all too lazy to like do that scientific comparison.
See, that's one thing I really, I really like appreciate and like, and you gain a lot of respect for someone like that, because I feel like he's just got so much knowledge about this stuff that is just crazy useful.
And you want to use EXRs anyway, because
for color grading.
There's so much more information in it. I don't use them often enough, but anytime that I'm doing something that I really want to have that control in, or I want to go to Nuke or something, I do use it. I guess I should just use it all the time, but
Speaking of Nuke, Aaron Sorensen, the guy we met at NAB who does VFX Central, he just posted a couple really cool tutorials on the Facebook for VFX Central. One of them is a breakdown of his compositing workflow using Nuke, which I thought was really, really helpful and cool. But he's going to be releasing like a big VFX crash course soon, hopefully. But he's like another Octane Cinema 4D Nuke genius, and I think he's super awesome. Yeah. So shout out to him.
Cool.
Well, a couple links here, and then we're going to hit the emails. The first thing is we have the Reel of the Week, which is Colin, who we were talking about from the
we'll call it the Chris Schmidt Hangout.
Chris Schmidt Hangout.
Yeah.
So we've got a link to the portfolio. I think it's her and her husband, I think.
I'm not 100%
her and
sure.
somebody. I don't know if
anyway, but she her background is in like actual like painting and stuff like that, and I really feel like you can like kind of see this in her reel as well. And it's very pretty, really, really good stuff. So
the other thing that I had here is that I just wanted to do this quick tip because we've talked about Gmail organization and stuff before,
yeah.
And there's unread versus starred. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys use that or if you ever mark anything as unread, even though you've read it.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mark it as unread if I want to go back to it, because most of the time whenever I'm doing email, it's always on my phone.
And do you ever... Well, but you can also flag on your phone, too.
Yeah, but...
which is the same as starred.
I feel like I've flagged some stuff before, and it's just still been a pain in order to find it.
Yeah. So there's that, and so what I like to do is I type into the address bar, into the search bar of Gmail, which you could also make a quick link to this if you get your search right. You can make it a bookmark. I do is:unread, and then I do -spam, because if you do is unread, then you're going to get all the spam stuff too. So you got to do is:unread -spam. And then it'll show all your unread emails. So if you're the type of person that likes to mark things as unread, that's a good way to go about it. So now the last link here is the leaked specs for the GeForce GTX 1080 Ti.
Ah, yeah.
Booyah.
So there's going to be a link to that because apparently there is going to be a Ti, according to this, and it says it's
supposed to be like
Titan
January, right?
I don't remember.
They're announcing it January, I think.
So, yeah, Titan X territory is what it says. So.
Good.
Yeah, totally. We got some emails. I'm not going to read them word for word, but I just wanted to mention a couple things here. For example, Colin LL on Reddit sent me something the other day and just thanking us for the tutorials. And said we've been a huge help in the journey to master Cinema 4D, and was talking about like the bottle tutorial and stuff, and how he's really looking for something like that in Octane.
Is this the guy that posts in the Reddit that's super awesome and does like kind of everydays?
I don't know.
I think I see his stuff in the Reddit a lot. Yeah.
But I've had a lot of people say like they want more Octane tutorials so bad, and so. Like, I'm really working on it. I wrote back. I said, very, very soon, it's just going to be like, I'm going to find some time, and then it's just going to be just all tutorials. I'm just going to bust out like 20 of them in a week and then like start releasing them.
Wow, that stuff is really good. I went on, I'm looking at his...
Yeah. He's won a bunch of the kind of monthly Reddit competitions, and I see his stuff all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
He says, I would cry tears of joy if you made something like the bottle tutorial, but for Octane. Thanks again for all the work. So that's cool.
Sweet.
We had Chris. We already talked about Chris, about the HalfRez thing. Craig Alexander sent something. Matt, you and him were going back and forth about a scene.
Yeah, he was asking... he sent us an email and he was like, hey, do you guys ever like look at stuff? I said, yeah, man, send it over. I'll take a look at it. It's an Octane scene. And so I opened it up, and like he was getting a lot of fireflies, like a ton of fireflies. And so I think the thing that he was doing was, he was working in direct lighting, but rendering out in path tracing, you know? And so I was like, no, you need to either work in one or the other, you know, that's the main thing. And so another thing was he was getting, with path tracing, he was getting a ton of these fireflies, and I took my, and this is something I learned from In Life Thrill, you know, doing his Octane tutorial. Basically with path tracing, you know, you want to try and get it the best as you can with using the least amount of resources. So, you know, I always like bring my specular all the way down and then slowly bring it back up until I don't notice the difference anymore. Same with my diffuse, you know, bring it down, then slowly bring it back up. I did that with my GI clamp as well. You know, I brought the GI clamp down from like 100,000 or whatever it starts off with to like 1.5. It got rid of all those fireflies, you know?
Nice.
So yeah, and he was having a hard time like getting it. He said it was like rendering it like 20 minutes a frame or something. And so, and there was a lot of noise, and we were able to get that down to like, I don't know, just a couple minutes. So
cool.
Yeah.
And Josh Foster sent us an email with a show topic idea, which we're going to tackle next week. Because it was just too much to fit into the show this week, but we will get to that. And then Sarah sent us something. We can't say for whom, but she, I think, has a new job with a long commute, and so we wish her luck on that. And she sent me links because she's working on, or she got an aquarium made with an old Mac, which I have an old blue, the neon blue iMac here at the house, and I want to make an aquarium out of it. It's just been sitting there. So she sent me some info on that. Which is really cool. And then we had some cool tweets throughout the week. I just took some of them. Paul Robinson not only had a really...
He took
the leap to Octane, but is working on a 670, and is having some
Octane
problems.
bench score of 21.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, it's an Octane bench score of 21.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, so good luck with that, buddy. But I'm glad that you told us you're getting a better card soon, because you're going to see like a ridiculous difference.
Yeah, totally. Like what the 980, the two 980s that we've got. What's the Octane bench score on there? Like 300 and something.
I believe it's like 250 to combined or something.
Yeah.
I want to say.
So
wow,
you'll see quite a jump from 21.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, totally. And then and by the way, if you can afford it, man, just go a little extra and get that 980 Ti.
You know what? If honestly, you're making a good decision if you're trying to
strapped.
Yeah, if you're strapped for cash, because we have a 970 Ti, right? I mean, it's not hooked up.
A 970.
Yeah, don't we? 970 Ti, the other one that we bought that is just sitting at your house.
No. That's a 780.
Oh,
780 Ti.
Never mind. 780 Ti. I had 970s.
There ain't no 970 Ti.
No, it's just a 970. I had some 970s for a while.
Yeah, 970s are okay. Get a 780 Ti. Those ones are pretty good.
And then we got, what else we have here? Mike said, got to meet Turns Left Home Video co-pilot people Nick Vegas and Brograph at HalfRez. It was worth the drive. That's awesome.
Yeah, totally. Like being associated with all those people. I'm not worthy. Yeah. Not
worthy. And Jason says, love your sharing of knowledge with the community. Keep up the good work. 531 says, okay, at Brograph, this plugin better have that pretty mouth you just keep talking about, just purchased. And then said, plug-in follow-up, you had me at barn doors. Similarly, how my wife attracted me too. Seriously though, this was totally worth it. So
my wife.
Sage said, I guess he listened to last week's podcast, and he said, now I can tell my grandkids I was on the same broadcast series as Nick Vegas. They probably won't believe me.
Speaking of which, Sage, I never got to thank you for making that amazing artwork that just blows my mind.
Totally.
The sour beer. I don't know. I just love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's my Facebook whatever they call it thing.
The cover
big,
photo.
large cover photo. That one.
Taylor says, Brograph, making my way through the new cast. Great interviews, bros. Mr. Felix said, love the Brograph podcast with Grayscale Gorilla. Great talk on personal work development. And Chad Ashley retweeted our podcast from last week. It said, great podcast, gets a great guest. Perfect Monday listening.
Oh,
that's awesome.
I love you, Chad Ashley. Chad,
I love
did
Chad
you see
Ashley
Chad
too.
shaved his beard?
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think?
even
Beard or no
recognize him.
beard?
Anyway.
Beard or no beard?
I would say beard. I don't know. The thing is,
I would say beard.
The picture, he didn't have his glasses on. You know, I'm so used to him with his glasses. I recognize him with his glasses. But if he put his glasses on, I don't know.
I would say go with the beard. There's more character there.
Yeah. But all of us have
beard guy.
beards. Except for
True.
Bebo. He's clean shaven.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy.
He's such a clean cut guy. Anyway.
Well, that about wraps it up, I guess, unless y'all have something else. I
Nope.
think I'm ready to play some Halo.
I had a very small thing.
What's up?
I'm ready to play Halo 2, but I wanted to show you guys this project that I actually got to use your plugin on or whatever.
Oh.
Ooh. So this is the before. So they wanted to make this guy into a mannequin. So like there's like this. It's this weird music video where people like suddenly start transforming into mannequins or whatever.
Okay.
But so for this, they shot him real, but they made him kind of powdery.
Yeah.
And so what they wanted to do was make his skin really shiny. So I matched several Octane spotlights with this scene. And here I'll show you the final right here. That's the one. Yeah, I don't know how well this is going to play on Dropbox, but you'll see his shiny skin. So basically what I did was I lined up just that default Cinema 4D bust, right? And then I just created a shiny texture in Octane and used that to composite some shiny, like I created some detail in his neck where his neck folds would be, or like his veiny bits and stuff. So you get like kind of bounces. Yeah, so you get like
veiny bits.
Yeah. And here's a little kind of preview hardware render in Cinema, so you can see like, let's see if this will play.
This looks really good.
Cool.
So you use the spotlight in order to like
I used 3 spotlights for where there's policemen's actuals,
yeah. How'd you like it? Was it easy?
Oh yeah, super easy. It was great. Yeah. Cool. There's an endorsement for you.
This plugin, the
nice.
plugin's done really well this
this month has been selling pretty well.
I don't know if I can talk about this or not. Anyways.
No, don't talk about that yet.
Okay.
I know what you're going to say. Don't talk about that yet. Too much. I think we already talked too much about Chris Schmidt's house.
Yeah.
We've revealed too much.
We must kill you all now.
Yes. If you are listening to us, please rate us on iTunes. Or just edit
it out of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We could.
Rate us on iTunes. Leave a review. We love that. We love reading some awesome reviews, and it also helps get us out there. You can also subscribe to us on there if you haven't, or subscribe to us on YouTube as well if you're not a subscriber there. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the No Brograph, No Mograph tee, or you could get the new shirt coming out, the Paul Babb 2020 t-shirt, which will be going to a charity, which we haven't specified yet. Look for that this week on the site, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube and Brograph.com.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
I think I'm ready to play some Halo. Let's get out of here.
If you guys have a Xbox One and want to play Halo 5 with us, hit us up.
We need some more people on our fire team.
Yep.
It's true. We've only got 3.
Yep.
All right. Until next week, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
I'm David.
Have a good one.
Later, bros.
Later, bros.
It's pretty good, I guess. Brograph.com, an online resource for learning critical components of Cinema 4D and After Effects, specifically catered to help you prevail as a motion graphic designer.
What's up, bros? Welcome to another Brograph motion graphics tutorial.
We give you professional time-saving tips, shortcuts, and lessons that help give you an edge over your fellow designers. Not only this, but our new Brograph Talks help you in your file management, hardware configuration, and client relations.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Join us for live sessions, check out our crazy Cinema 4D experiments, or just watch our Fun with Brograph series, where we show you practical applications for techniques learned in previous tutorials. Do this from the beginning, and your client is going to respect that, and they're going to respect you, and they're going to respect your time. Subscribe today and get automatic updates on the latest tutorials, tricks, tips, and inspiration brought to you by industry professionals Dave Koss and Matt Milstead, all with a slight dash of dry humor peppered in. Real nice banana.
Brograph.com, your source for tutorials that will help you thrive in the motion graphics industry. Don't just play around with Cinema 4D and After Effects, master it, and make money by becoming indispensable at your workplace.
We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here. Subscribe now to Brograph Tutorials. It's pretty good, I guess.